Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode two, or season two. I keep saying episode. We are on season two, episode 26 of my I Love Learning podcast. If you don't know me, my name is Dr. Gina Anderson. I am the host of the I Love Learning podcast and the CEO of Luma Brighter Learning. And Luma helps the transportation and logistics industry save lives through our award winning learning management system. If you'd like to find out more about Luma Brighter Learning, go to lumabrighterlearning.com. And I would love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking in the link in the comments if you like my show. So thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Please let us know in the chat where you're joining in from around the world. And if you're ready for my guest, y'all, you will, today's show is going to blow your mind because you are going to meet the most incredible human that I have met in a very long time. So type "let's go" in the comments. And this week's guest is Michael Lee. And, it's kind of funny. Before we bring him on, I was asking him, I don't even know what to call you because he is that incredible. He is the CEO of Reconciled.com. He does so much goodness in this world. I met Michael Lee through the Ink Masters communities over 2 years ago now. So welcome to the show, Michael, my dear friend. And I'm so glad to have you. I want you to introduce everyone who you are. Tell us about your passion. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on. And I am an absolute fan. And if there's one title I do have is a big fan of Gina. That's
Oh,
definitely the
come
truth.
on. You're the
So yeah,
best.
so Gina's great and wonderful, and wonderful human being. And I immediately knew her passion when we both made it to the Inc. 5000 list, and we got to connect. I was just overwhelmed with just her presence and her smile and her joy, and also just the friendship we've formed over the past few years. So thank you, Gina, for having me on. And
Yeah,
excited for this podcast
absolutely.
of yours. I remember when this was just an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an idea, and, I'm just gonna share this with everyone because I don't know, things hold us back, right? There's always something that hold everyone gets held back from something, and it's typically ourselves. But I met with Michael, this was over 2 years ago, and I was kinda hemming and hawing about, going out and speaking and not getting opportunities. And I have taped here right to my desk. I'll take a picture and post it later in the chat. It says, "Gina, it was nice meeting you. He said, don't ask for permission, make your own audience." And I'm like, you know what? That's true. Why haven't I thought of that? Thank you, Michael, for inspiring me to continue to move towards my dreams. You are just incredible and beautiful, and you're making a difference and you're leaving your legacy. So why don't you share with the audience really what you're passionate about?
Yeah. So I started in the accounting field as a bookkeeper in high school when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
I had a family member who, a person who married into my family that was an accountant, and I'd never met an accountant before. And so I worked for him. He taught me everything he knew. And then they gave me his job, and I was 16. And so I've been in the accounting realm now for a long time. And 10 years ago, I started a business called Reconciled. I got this amazing opportunity to start Reconciled and launch it. And at the time, I was thinking, oh, I could serve the clients I have. I had some CFO clients, controller clients, and I could get more and provide them solid bookkeeping. Well, I launched Reconciled, and the past 10 years have been a whirlwind of growth and change and roller coaster, as you know, of any business owner of Reconciled. And so since then, since launching Reconciled, it's catapulted me to Inc. 5000 list 3 years in a row, and also has allowed me to speak on a national stage at many different conferences, including Intuit's annual national conference for accountants, as well as other accounting and finance conferences and leadership conferences. And I also actually host my own little conference as well. I have about 130 accounting firm
Wow.
owners that come to Scottsdale, Arizona every year after tax season. So I'm looking forward to that every single year. And so it's great. So that's been the legacy I've been able to leave. I also launched an HR company called Humanly back in
Mm.
2019 with my co-founder. And I also more recently launched a venture fund called AF
Mm.
Fund. where we're doing pre-seed to seed stage investments into accounting and fintech software companies. So that's my life. But really, I just like having fun and making an impact on people's lives. And so any chance I get to do that, that's really what I prioritize above.
Yeah. Your middle name is fun, in fact. I think Michael Fun Lee. I know this for a fact, and I can appreciate it because one thing is true. If you know learning is laughter really makes you feel better, and just being around Michael makes you feel better. And you want to be part of Michael's goodness and his companies and his growth and everything that's part of everything he is because he is just a beautiful human. And I often think that when you meet someone like Michael, who obviously it seems like has everything together, every aspect of his life has a bow on it or a bow tie, because I won't say he has a bow, he has a bow tie. Um, Michael, has there been hurdles that helped you that has prevented you from fun or prevented you from moving forward? Or, what if there have been hurdles, what like how have you overcome them to get where you are today? And I know they're always there. I mean, they're
Yeah.
never ending, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I know, and I honestly love talking about it, and I wish people would talk about it more because we talked about that, Gina, even a few years ago
Mm,
when we met. But yeah, a few years ago, and my whole life, I had never dealt with mental health issues, never dealt with depression, never dealt with emotional mood changes, that come from being a business owner. But it finally hit me 7 years into the business,
mm,
and there was a variety of reasons. I can't pinpoint it to just one, but variety of reasons. And so I started dealing with mental health challenges just about 3 years ago, and it was the first time that I'd ever dealt with depression. And I
mm,
remember it distinctly because there was about a week where every single day I would wake up, and normally I would wake up and be right energized to go do and live life. And that week, it was what meetings can I delay? What
mm,
meetings can I cancel? How do I get to lunch? And then what meetings do I cancel after lunch? And I just wouldn't want to get out of bed. And that's when I
mm,
realized, wow, I'm dealing with depression. This is the first one of the few times I had dealt with it, and I had to be honest about it and started seeing a
mhm,
therapist. And so that's begin the past three years have been again a journey of both mental health focus, emotional health focus, physical health focus for me. And I think something that a lot of us business owners, entrepreneurs ignore. And also, people describe me, they say, if we look at your life, like you said, it looks like there's a bow tie on everything. And I go, yes, but underneath, and for all of us, I know underneath it,
mm,
you're on the spider thread of being just falling apart, right? Just a spider thread. And, so instead of running and running and trying to ignore it all about 3 years ago, I just said, you know what? I need to focus on this and make room for this in my life. And so that's been a really big prioritization of my life in the past 3 years of making sure I get through that. And the big part of it is seeing a therapist, surrounding yourself with loved ones, for me, prioritizing people
mm,
over getting the next thing done or getting the next big thing done. It was prioritize people and being around them. And thankfully, I had invested my life into prioritizing other people. So I had people around me who made me a priority in their life and helped me through and have walked with me and still walk with me even today, which has been amazing. So surrounding yourself with good people is going to be the strategy for not if but when you hit this kind of hurdle, because we all go through it and we shouldn't be ashamed. We definitely should
mm.
not be ashamed. It's a normal part of being a human being, and frankly, it's what makes each of us interesting. Is that we can actually go through these cycles as humans, and that whether you believe in a creator or whether you believe in evolution, human beings are so interesting because we can go through this flood of emotions and experiences, and it's the common human experience that we get to have with one another.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable and sharing your story because I agree with you. I think it's very telling that we're in this period of time where people are unhappy. But when you share your story, you can connect with others who are going through something similar. and that can then reach out to you and get help or get advice. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And, you never know by looking at someone really what they're going through, right? So was there a specific time, like you were struggling? What was it that really like you said you weren't even wanting to get out of bed, or you were just
Yeah.
looking for lunch and then over? Was there a specific moment or something that happened or something that you learned that kind of said, Michael, like you need to get help?
Yeah. Yeah. I just, I think that a big part of it is I knew that this was not normal behavior for me, right? Not,
Mhm.
not wanting to get out of bed. That's just like abnormal behavior for me.
No, because you're
Because
usually dancing.
yeah, exactly. I'm usually dancing. I want to get out
Yeah,
and do dancing. Yeah. And
right.
then for the people who were surrounded me, my family, my friends who reached out and said, "Hey, are you okay? You've been acting strange. You're not as quick to your messages, or you've delayed these meetings or whatever it is." Also to have employees and management team members who knew me so well to say, "Okay,
Right.
Michael, you're going through something," but
Mhm.
also to have family members to just say,
Mhm.
"Hey, you need to get help, and
Mhm.
we want to help you get help." And that was a big deal for me.
Mm.
And at first, I had to be in a place where I was willing to hear that and admit it, right? And that's also hard, is to accept people's help and advice. You have to be willing and humble enough to say you don't have everything together, and it is not weakness or shameful or failure to accept help. It's actually it actually takes courage. It actually takes faith. It takes leadership to say, I need help and I need other people to help me and to be a part of that. And I was the guy that always helped other people. I was the guy that people always relied on. And now it was my turn to say, you know what? I'm gonna be the guy that I'm gonna rely on people. I'm gonna take their advice. I'm gonna take their help, and I'm gonna give them the honor to serve me and have the privilege of that. And that's friendship, and that's family, and that's closeness, right? That's the human
Mhm.
being a human being to one another. So it took that being willing to do that, and that was huge. That was huge for me. And I've learned a lot since then, right? Some of the assumptions I've had about life or about people or about myself, it helped really reshape those into more healthier beliefs about us, about each other. And so one of the things you can expect in life is people will disappoint you, right? It just happens. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and it's how you respond to that. And understand that everyone's human, including myself, and that I will disappoint people. And I think a part of my acceptance was I didn't want to disappoint people by
Mm.
becoming depressed, by delaying meetings, by not meeting their expectations. I had to come to acceptance, like, no, no, no. It's actually okay. It's actually okay to say, look, I'm not at a spot where I can meet your expectations, or I'm not at a place where I can perform at the level you want me to perform at. And
Mhm.
so that a lot of that also was just rooted in the way I grew up and what I was told, and having to be successful, having to accomplish things. But me willing to just say, no, 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 it's okay to step back and to prioritize myself, prioritize my healing. And so that helped me a lot on my journey. And that's still made me the person I am today now, being able to be here still and being able to impact people's lives, like yourself and others. So yeah.
I This is so incredible. Tara says that she loves this conversation. It's so powerful. And I saw Alyssa said she agreed it takes courage. It does take courage to accept help. So thank you all for being here and listening to this powerful story, this powerful friendship, and just incredible courage for Michael to share. Because I think a lot of times, and I think this is true, but a lot of men don't, especially business owners, CEOs who are men, come forward and talk about how they're struggling with depression. I work in the transportation industry, and it's majority males. And I was at a talk. This was a few months ago, asking, or it was actually last April. It was almost a year ago now. I was asking how many people felt like fours and fives, and only 3 people raised their hand in the room.
Yeah.
It's like we're in this time where, we need each other. We need to connect with each other. So if you're struggling, Michael is a great resource. And honestly, this idea that it takes a tribe, to
Yeah.
help you move forward and to reframe, because you think about things, but you might not be looking at them as reality. It might be your reality, but that might not be how other people, and people want to serve and help each other. So I love that. So Michael, how do you keep moving forward? What keeps you happy? Because I know this isn't like, okay, one day you're depressed and then you wake up and now you're not. I mean, it's like, it's something that you're always, you always have there as part of your journey. So what keeps you happy and
Yeah.
moving forward?
So there's a few things, and I'm glad you mentioned men. There is a loneliness epidemic across the U.S. and across our
Mhm.
country, and maybe other parts of the world, but like across the U.S. especially, COVID was a big part of accelerating this loneliness epidemic. But men, especially men in their late 30s and well into their 40s and 50s, they are extremely lonely right now, and they don't have a lot of other men or brothers to talk to. And so I remember a few months ago, there's another firm owner, another business owner that I know, and he's building a really, really inspiring business. And
Mhm.
we just have this amazing, like, we don't talk on the phone a lot. I've met him at a conference. We text quite a bit. And I remember him asking me one day a question on text. And the way he asked the question,
Mhm.
it showed me that he cared about me. It showed me that he cared about what was important to me, and the question overwhelmed me, and I literally had a 15-minute emotional breakdown in my living room because of that question, that simple question. And I hadn't cried like that in a long time. It'd probably been a year, 2 years. And I needed that. I needed that release just from that question. And and immediately I reached out to a few guys in my life that are local to me. I said, "Hey guys, I need to see you. I just had this massive emotional breakdown. I need to see you." They dropped everything and came and saw me. One
Wow.
of them had the flu. He put on a mask to come see me, and he says, "Look, I'm sick. I'm gonna put a mask on. I want to see you. I want to be there for you." And they were there. They just listened, right? And so when I say one of the things that for men especially who don't have, those people in their lives, work on getting it. Get those people, because that is what I needed that day, and it propelled me to want to continue to be that way for other men as well, and
Mm.
remind me that, wow, there's guys in my life that really care, that are there for me, and they don't expect me to be a certain way when I show up.
Mhm.
They expect me to just be me, to be Michael, to be their friend, right? And that was a big one. And the other one is I have a massive faith. My
Mhm.
spiritual life has been a part of my journey since I was in middle school, and it's been up and down. I'm not perfect by any means, and for anybody who has a faith or faith system in their life, it's a rock that's like internal to you inside. And so I've always had this journey of belief with God, and really meditation and prayer, and reading scripture. So that's also being a big part of my life as well, and sharing openly about that with people to say, this is what I'm struggling with, whether they struggle with the same thing or not. I've been very, very open with that with people as well. So those are kind of two bedrocks, are the people around me, and also my kind of my own faith, my own walk and journey.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm really curious about this because you inspire me and I admire you. I want to know, so this season, my second season is on winning.
Nice.
So I want to know what winning means to Michael Lee. What is winning? If someone were to say to you, Michael, what is winning? What would you say?
That I would say this. I made it a goal in my life, and this was this was a few years ago. Was every moment I get with a person, whether it's on video or in person, I want them leaving, and I want them saying, "Wow, I may not get another moment with Michael, but that was a massively satisfying experience." And I was
Yes.
impacted, and if I can do that with every single person, whether it's in the grocery line at the grocery store, whether it's, at the restaurant with the server that's serving me food, and I can be the best customer they've ever had, or it's with a friend and we're
Mm,
having a great time together, or maybe they're sharing a sad moment and they know I'm present with them and they know I'm listening and they know that wow, Michael cares about me, and they can walk away knowing I care about them. That's what I want to have,
mm.
is that impact. That's what winning is to me.
You
It
know,
used to be, yeah, it
yeah.
used to be like, how big can I grow Reconciled, or how successful? And I realized, wait, no, the only reason I'm even doing Reconciled is, can I make an impact on the employees' lives that I have working for me? And so one of the things I do is, even the interviews I have with people that come and apply to Reconciled, I will first say, thank you for applying. The fact that you applied is an honor and a privilege that I get to have, that you would apply and want to spend a part of your career working here at somewhere I created. That is an honor. And if you get a chance to work here, that's great. And just thank you that we even get to have this conversation. And so, like, that's what's winning is to me, is what impact can I have on someone's life, no matter how big or small it is,
Mhm.
and can they walk away saying that in the depths of their soul, like wow, if I never get another moment with that guy, that was a really, really impactful and exciting time with him.
Yeah. I love that. You know what? And the thing is, Michael, it's true because I don't know if you remember this, but I remember one of my first moments. It was my second moment with you, but it was in person. My first in-person moment with you, and you had your black hat on, not your top hat.
Yeah.
And you walked in and I saw you, and when your passion is that which you just described as winning, is for you to make a meaningful impact and be connected. We were connected because when we talked, I will never forget what we talked about. And we had this great moment of just support and love and admiration for what we had both done, and we were there and changing lives. And I'll never forget that. And I'll never forget, I have this on my desk, and you're an encourager.
Mm.
And you are going to leave that legacy. And so that, what you said, is truth. Michael truly is an in-depth connector. And people say, where's your mind, Michael? Like, your mind wanders in a half a second, but Michael's mind is a rock. It's right there with you. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. It's true. It's so true. So last week, Michael, I had Jeffrey Sawyer. He was on my podcast, and he's a safety director at Apex Trucking. And he had a question for you. So he wanted to know, how does your passion affect your personal life? And he was, I think, thinking your passion was about accounting. But honestly, I think your passion is what you just said winning was, personally.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll let you answer the question.
Yeah. I think the passion I have for people, when I think about it, it stems originally from this Latin idea called the Imago Dei, and that means the image of God. And every human being, my belief and what I've been taught and what I believe absolutely, is every human being you meet has been created in the image of our Creator, right? The person who made us. And so when I meet a person, whether it's a child or an adult or a super famous person or somebody that is homeless or whatever, my belief stemmed from, they were made in the image of God. So therefore, getting to know them massively is important to me, because I'm going to learn something about myself. I'm going to learn something about our Creator, and I'm going to learn something new that's going to impact me and teach me. And so how does my passion impact my personal life? My personal life is filled with amazing people that I've gotten to know and learn from, and my best day is when I get to meet another new person and I get to learn about something about myself and something about them. And I get to orbit them and impact them, and hopefully get to orbit me and impact me. And so that's how the passion kind of seeps in, is this passion for the people around me and the new people I get to meet. There's what, 7-8 billion people in this world now, and I can spend a lifetime, and I won't even touch a minuscule amount of those people in this world. And probably the other aspect is, if I get any chance to travel, get any chance to experience something new that's out of this world, that's a completely different experience, I want to have it. I want to try it. And so that's also kind of how that passion impacts my personal life.
Got it. Perfect. I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, you'll have to come to Charleston soon
Yeah,
again. Or, we can that would be incredible. Next week I have Tracy Rushing on my podcast,
that's
and
awesome.
she actually also is in the transportation industry. She's the executive director of safety and recruiting at RE Garrison Trucking. And if you watch next week, you'll see she has a heart a lot like yours. She is a beautiful human who loves to connect and get to know people. What do you think we should ask Tracy next week? Let's try to stump her.
I I think for Tracy, I think I want to ask Tracy, when you think about being in the business of transportation and logistics, um, how what is the meaning of that for you, and what is that meaning of that for you, especially in a world where mobility and transportation is like everything, right? It's everything. It's changed the way we lived, and so what is that? What is the meaning for her, and what keeps her excited to stay in the transportation industry?
Oh, I love that. We'll see. We'll check it out next week with Tracy. Michael, I have one more question before we leave. All right. This is a serious one. If someone is out there listening today and they've lost their passion for learning,
Hmm.
and they're feeling down, kind of like you were a few months ago, what advice would you leave them with today? What would you tell them? And also tell us where they can find you and connect with you if anyone wants more information about you.
When I was feeling this way, the thing I had to remind myself was there is an unending amount of things for you to learn, not just out in the world, but about yourself.
Mm.
And a part of you losing your passion is you losing an understanding of who you are truly on the inside, your identity as a person. And so I would encourage that person to go get mental health therapy, like just go get help, go get mental health therapy, and go learn more about yourself. And you're going to learn some things that are going to unlock a passion that you're going to want to have then for the future. So go learn more
Awesome.
about yourself. Yeah, and then if you want to reach out, LinkedIn is going to be right here in the comments in the show notes. LinkedIn is the best way to reach out to me. I have the biggest following on there.
He is.
And
Yeah.
you're and then if you want to check out my website, Michael Lee michaelly.co. That's my personal website. You can reach out on there as well. I get a lot of people that reach out and want to connect, and I love connecting with people.
Awesome, Michael. Well, I am just more than ecstatic to have you here today. This has been a long time for me having you on my podcast. So thank you. Thank you for being so beautiful, and so open, and just, who you are, being you. So thank you so much, and be kind out there and be connected. And until next time, we'll see you all. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everybody.